2011 Ultimate Builder Custom Bike Show in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're talking to Will Robertson of Wicked Steel. He's brought us a freestyle class bike. Will, take a moment and tell me about yourself, please.
Well, basically we're just a small operation, work out of a two-car garage. Everything we do is in the backyard. This is a passion that we do. Hopefully turned into a full-time passion, but right now we do this nights and weekends. And it's a dream where you get to do something that you enjoy doing and travel around and show your works to people that hopefully appreciate what you've done and see what other people have done. It's just it's a small community of people that have a passion for motorcycles, whether they're Harleys or Yamahas or BMWs or whatever brand they are. I think the passion for the bikes speak for themselves.
What were you trying to accomplish with this build?
Well, I wanted to take a theme, this being a Yamaha made in Japan, and I wanted to stay with a geisha samurai warrior theme and just kind of put it out there, something a little bit different than skulls and flames on most of the customs that you see. Yes, it has flowers on it and it's maybe a little feminine, but it's something that I've wanted to do for years, and I finally just took a chance and did it, and it's been received very well.
What was your vision on this bike?
Well, I'd like for some Oriental business gentleman or lady to see this and have to buy it and put it in their lobby or in their office. I think it would be a great piece for a high-income CEO or CFO of some company in Japan.
What was your inspiration on this bike?
Basically to try and put something as I would call art in motion. The bike kind of speaks for itself. It is more of an art piece. It is a rideable bike. It's fully street legal and so forth. But its main inspiration was to do something like art in motion.
Let's talk about the fabrication. Tell us, let's start at the front end of the bike.
Well, the front end basically has got a 21-inch mag wheel. It's an Arlen Ness wheel. The headlight I found in right here in Daytona months ago in a retail store that was up in an attic. They had one left, and luckily it wasn't damaged. The handlebars are all handmade, painted to look like bamboo. The samurai sword on the down tube, of course, carries with that theme of the samurai geisha theme that I tried to promote. It's more of what we call a pro street. It's long and low rather than a chopper or a bopper or a bagger.
What about your tank? Not other than the paint, we'll get to that in a minute, but the fabrication of your tank.
The tank basically had to be extended so that it would flow into the seat area. Other than that, there had to be panels worked in the front of the tank so it conformed and met with the neck rather than look at it and have a big empty hole passing through the neck area on the tank. It has a pop-up gas cap, things like that.
Let's move back to the seat and the oil bag area. Will?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the seat.
Okay. The seat, as you can see, it has to be custom made. It has to contour with the frame and the body of the bike. You can't just buy a seat and stick it on there, so that's all handmade. And the seating area, of course, that all has to be handmade as a decorative piece. Is it the most comfortable seat in the world? No. But you won't be riding this bike to Sturgis, but again, it's a workable, rideable bike. Some people would call it more of a bar hopper, if you will.
What about the rear fender now?
Again, the rear fender is handmade. It's cut with the angles to match the back of the seat. I like a fender to hug the rear tire. I don't like having fenders way above the tire, that big dead air gap space. I like them to hug that rear tire as close as you can, but still be rideable. So pretty much that's the fender.
What size tire is that?
That's a 300.
Now what tire are you running on that?
We're running the Avon on that.
And let's take a look at the what size you have. What's the Are you using a trans brake on that?
Yeah, a lot of people don't notice it at first, but there is absolutely no brakes on the wheels or rotors or calipers at all. My goal there was to keep the wheels clean and kind of give people a chance to shake their head, you know, and think, where's the brake? So we fabricated a trans brake off of a midget racing car, and that had to be machined down to fit and make work with the bike. You just don't open a catalog for a Yamaha and say, send me a trans brake. So that was all fabricated to go with the bike.
Let's talk about paint.
Okay.
Obviously you've got a little paint on here.
This paint job took right at 6 months, and it gave me gray hair because I had to design the paint job. I don't paint, but you have a blank canvas when you start with a frame, and you have to know where to put what pieces of work on what panel and what colors. And those decisions, once you go into paint, those decisions are pretty permanent. So that to me was one of the hardest parts of the bike, was designing the layout and the colors and where to put gold leaf, where not to put gold leaf. And I got lucky. It turned out real sweet.
Very nice. Who was instrumental in getting your bike done?
Of course, my buddy Steve Galvin did most of the fabrication work, and then another friend of mine, Joe Palermo, did some work for us. And again, my talents are not in sheet metal or fab or MIG or TIG. My talents are more in design and in presentation. And sometimes that's hard to get accomplished and get done right.
If somebody'd like to get a hold of you, how would they do that, Will?
I can be reached in St. Pete, Florida at 813-244-2528.
Will, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.